This TikToker just declared war on the entire anime community. That's you, that's probably you. Observe.
Are adults really watching anime? I'm sorry, are we? I mean, I'm not being a bully, I know. I mean completely unironically, and not just for the aesthetics, and not just a little bit for the vibe. Are we really watching it? Because I think I got a lot to learn, because are you alone and you put it on, and you have a college degree and everything, and you're just like, God bless your heart.
So this gem was brought to my attention by Wonder Lady on Twitter. It currently has over 500,000 views with just over 3,000 likes and a whopping 25,000 comments, which is a ratio that would make even Pythagoras jealous, because the Pythagoreans invented ratio theory and explaining the joke always makes it funnier. But I have to say, this here is an opinion that would have absolutely slapped in the early 2000s. Back then, the general impression of anime was that it was either for kids or that it was a certain kind of adult cartoon that I can't actually say within the first 2 minutes of a YouTube video. But trust me, all of you Zoomer anime fans, you know who you are. You have it so good. Because back when I was in high school, admitting you liked anime was kind of like admitting that you had an infectious disease. People stayed away from you and just generally felt sorry for your existence. What does surprise me is that now it's 2023 and anime is mainstream as hell. It's so mainstream that people of my elderly generation are starting to go all hipster and accusing normies of ruining anime. But I digress, because this person's name is Carolyn and she likes to be called Carolyn, a high-functioning adult who claims to be from New York City, quite specifically her childhood bedroom. And from some of her other videos, I believe that Carolyn is around 26 or 27, so that's a bit wow. Are adults really still living with their parents? I'm sorry, are we? To be fair, some of you are, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that because it's a rough economy, especially in New York City of all places. And look, I'm not here to judge you, but Carolyn is. And I do have to be careful here because at first, I wasn't sure if this was just a very elaborate troll. You know, someone who understands the anime community and knows exactly what buttons to push. But as I watched more of Carolyn's videos, which side note, I don't recommend you do. I've done it so you don't have to. But that possibility very quickly evaporated. And we'll go into some of her other stuff in a bit because there's some very questionable stuff on this account. But what you're seeing in her anime video is, in my opinion, a genuine take. Carolyn is a self-described sad, sarcastic Zillennial, so younger than me, but not much younger. And if I'm being completely honest, something I find really cringe is adults posting on TikTok. I don't say that to sound snarky or anything. I just really don't see it as the medium of our generation. And every time I see an adult on TikTok pop up somewhere, it gives me some very how do you do fellow kids kind of vibes. That in and of itself is an ancient meme now. I mean, that was from 30 Rock, right? So that's like at least 10 years ago. In any case, Carolyn has around 30,000 followers on the old TikTok, and I think that's a lot. Again, not to be snarky, but not being a TikTok creator myself, I don't quite have a handle on the clout exchange rate. As far as I'm aware, the value tier is as follows. Twitch sub is the most valuable, followed by a YouTube subscriber, and then a TikTok follower. So I guess if we consider a Twitch sub the United States dollar, then a YouTube sub is kind of like the New Zealand dollar, and a TikTok follower is more like the Japanese yen. But getting back to Carolyn, she is a self-described writer creative with her body of work including a horde of duets and stitches filmed from the most unfavorable angles possible on her childhood bed, as well as the classic piece of cinema that is eating snack and shaking butt. Peak content there. In fact, this video has a whopping 3 likes and 1 comment, that 1 comment being, "There's nothing back there, but you tried," which I do bring up solely to say do not make fun of this person based on their appearance. Make fun of her due to her ideas. Because as soon as you attack someone's appearance, you've instantly lost whatever point you were hoping to make. Also, do not go harass her in any way, shape, or form. In fact, don't give her attention in any way. The attention should start and end with this video. So look, we're taking appearance off the table, but if you want to talk about intelligence, then that is a completely different matter, because that's a conversation that Carolyn has already started.
I think I got a lot to learn, because are you alone and you put it on, and you have a college degree and everything, and you're just like,
The implication here being that smart people don't watch the anime, or at the very least they should be smart enough to know better. I mean, if any of you watching me right now have tertiary educations and watch anime, then what are you doing, you loser? The other implication Carolyn makes is that anime is something people only resort to when they're feeling lonely, because people with friends don't watch anime. They go outside and do things with said friends. I mean that, or they make TikTok videos in their childhood bedroom. Something I want to bring up is that from watching far too many of Carolyn's TikToks, it It's very clear to me that Carolyn has her own social problems, very few friends, and a desperate, and I mean desperate, need for attention. So what you're seeing here is mostly projection. She's trying to make you the loser in order to make herself feel better. I mean, what are you watching anime, you nerd? You should be watching some peak content like this.
Halloween is cool. Halloween is cool. Halloween is cool.
That's it. That's the video. And that's 13 seconds of my life that I'll never get back. Actually, it's even worse. It's more like 26 really, because I watched it while researching and I have to watch it again during editing. It's just like, the things I do for you. And at this point, I want to go in a bit deeper here, because what I'm saying might seem like an unfair response for one bad online take about anime. And to be perfectly honest, originally, I wasn't even going to make a video about this. But as I kept watching TikToks, much to my detriment, I came to the realization that Carolyn is just a pretty shitty person. Like, for example, this video where she's making a joke out of someone needing to put down their pet.
Oh, thank God. I thought you were talking about a human. Sorry, it's still sad. I was just like, whoo, I'm sorry.
And you know, the most offensive thing about this video isn't the sociopathic disregard of human feelings. It's the fact that Carolyn thought that the most ideal camera angle for this comedy gold was to stick her face in the bottom right-hand corner of a very thin portrait format. I mean, look, if you're gonna try and make an edgy joke, then yeah, sure, you do you, but at least have the decency to put the bare minimum effort into it. I mean, surely after seeing that, you just go, oh no, I screwed up that shot. I guess I'll do another take because it's only 5 seconds. But as I kept watching, I realized that no, this was no mistake. This is actually an artistic decision implemented into Carolyn's content.
Did everyone know that mathematicians are like discovering new math?
Yeah, because they're f***ing nerds.
I am a black girl who went to a blowjob bar for the first time.
And I'm a white girl who gave a blowjob for the first time. And let me just say.
Do you remember this $2,500 transformation on Blair?
No, but I do remember 9/11.
I think what Carolyn generally does is a very poor attempt at edgy humor that just comes off as a bit sad and kind of mean for no reason at all. I mean, to be clear, I'm not against edgy humor when it's cleverly crafted and when it has a point, but this has neither. It's just like, oh, what shocking thing can I say here to try and get some attention today? You know what? I got it. I know what I'll say. Blowjobs. That's pretty shocking. Really, it's the sort of humor I'd expect to hear from a teenager. You know that phase where old jokes are just about saying a word related to sex and giggling uncontrollably?
What are your unpopular opinions in the bedroom? I'll go first.
Sex? Sex is kind of... It feels kind of good.
Also, quick side quest content here. Carolyn seems to have this weird fascination with the Australian accent and often makes videos mimicking it.
Only friends with girls that they find attractive. I need to know if that is true.
True. I need to know if that is true.
True, we do speak like that, which is fine, but sometimes I do question the material that Carolyn chooses to mimic.
American police officer has overdosed on the...
Oh no, she overdosed. Oh no, she overdosed.
Again, fair enough, the Australian accent, I'll admit, it's pretty fun. But if it was me, I probably wouldn't have used the clip of the police officer overdosing as a vehicle to make fun of the accent. And one of the funny things is that in the anime video, Carolyn states early on that it's not her intention to bully anyone, no. But then immediately goes on to imply that anime watchers are all lonely, friendless, and brainless.
I mean, I'm not being a bully, I know.
Really, every time you start a sentence with something like, look, I'm not trying to be a bully here, then you're just giving a nice disclaimer for your ensuing bullying. It's like the old, I'm not racist, but... And my favorite reply to Carolyn comes from a user named Freshcakes who said, and how many seasons of The Bachelor have you watched? Which is so true. Why is it that the people with this opinion always watch the trashiest garbage possible? Like your Bachelors, your 90 Day Fiancés, your Drag Race, and all the Kardashians. There's nothing wrong with any of those shows, by the way. I mean, I unironically enjoyed watching Dragon Ball Super, so I get the appeal of watching stuff to have a good time rather than always seeking out peak media. And I think that everyone should be able to enjoy whatever they want without being judged by randoms on the internet, be it a YouTube man or a TikTok not that. As I said before, I think what's happening here is a classic case of desperation for attention. And how do you get attention attention in 2023? Well, what you do is say weird, shocking crap on the internet, get thoroughly ratioed, and gain a small following as a result, and then bam, you are officially an influencer. Which is exactly what we've done here, actually. Carolyn's anime TikTok got over 500,000 views. Before that, her videos were getting a couple of thousand views at most, and now all of her TikToks are getting around 50 to 70,000 views. Again, I don't quite know what the value of those views are, but it is a massive increase. However, there's a definite downside to this because a huge proportion of these new viewers are clearly what we would describe as hate watchers. They aren't coming to Carolyn for her content, they're just morbidly curious and taking the opportunity to remind her about her bad anime takes, which you can tell because every TikTok since the anime one has been ratioed hard. They only get a handful of likes as opposed to hundreds of comments, and the comments are all like, hey, you should watch Demon Slayer, or hey, watch Neon Genesis, or you know what would fix this situation, Carolyn? Spy Family. Which is really cool to see. Not a lot of people are being vitriolic towards Carolyn. I mean, yes, there's a few every now and then. But for the most part, the anime community has adopted a strategy of killing her with kindness, because every video is just accompanied by a flood of hilarious anime recommendations. However, I do feel a bit sorry for Carolyn, because going from little to no interaction to being bombarded with this kind of attention is almost certainly going to be pretty rough on the old mental health. Human beings really don't cope well with sudden fame, or even worse, sudden infamy. But as always, I have to admit there's a definite sense of schadenfreude here because Carolyn is the one who started this. In her mind, anime was a very easy target because who watches anime? Just a couple of friendless losers living in their mother's basement. To be fair, there is an entire channel called Mother's Basement. It's one of the biggest channels in the anime niche, so I can see where the impression comes from. But what happened here is kind of like deciding to declare war on India because, you know, it's a country you've heard of, but you don't have any Indian friends yourself. Then you immediately discover that, India has how many people? 1.5 billion. Oh my crap. And I think the analogy is quite apt because even though it was meant to be a very casual, snarky remark for a morsel of delicious, delicious online clout, Carolyn did unknowingly declare war on the anime community. And I think this whole situation is a very good lesson in just watching what you say online, because there was no reason to be this antagonistic. I mean, what did she think would happen? Actually, you know what? I can probably guess. She thought that her TikTok would resonate with people and they'd all go, "Good take, Carolyn. You show those cartoon tentacle loving nerds." Also, I agree. Yes, Halloween is cool and sex feels kinda good. She says such weird things. And I don't want to get too political, but this is a greater trend of society. We have a tendency to attack those with the least power because they're an easy target who can't fight back, and so we use them to push agendas forward. That's what Carolyn thought was going to happen here. Today, I'm just going to farm some anime fans. But here's the thing though. In the end, I think that Carolyn is going to be okay. This is not a career-ending move. In fact, it's a career-making move. She basically just has to wait until the anime fans get bored of commenting on her videos, and in the meantime, TikTok is going to push them out to a broader audience due to the increased attention from anime fans hate watching her. So this probably isn't the ending we wanted, but it seems that everything has gone according to plan. Carolyn just kept relentlessly saying stupid stuff on the internet until she managed to piss off a very large group of people, and then bam, now she has all the attention she's always wanted.